All right, let's talk about 1.5, the assassination of Habyarimana and Netanyahu, and however you say that, okay? So a couple things to understand right away is this is going to be the thing that starts the genocide, okay? This is a proverbial spark in the powder keg that ignites this racial and ethnic tension in Rwanda. So number one, it is 100% certain that this plane was shot down. What is not certain is why it was shot down and who actually shot this plane down. Initially, Hutu extremists are going to say that this was the RPF who's going to be doing this. Okay, the RPF is going to say, no, we're not. There's going to be kind of two different groups that are accused. So number one is Hutu extremists are going to be accused of shooting down the plane, as it says, giving away the farm, basically to get back at Habyarimana for his agreements at the Arusha Accords. RPF rebels are going to be the second group that's going to be accused, as basically a way of saying that they don't trust Habyarimana to keep his promise and to move forward, so they're going to kill him and try to kind of take over that way. Regardless, to know that this is going to be happening, it is shot down. RTLM radio, initially, this is going to be the radio run by the Hutu extremist, is going to blame the crash on Belgian troops. Remember, the Belgians were stationed here. They were part of the primary group of the peacekeepers from the United Nations, were the Belgians. Now, historically, this makes sense. The Belgians were the ones who occupied Rwanda after World War I up until the revolution in the 1960s. So they're going to be the first ones here, and they're going to be blamed initially for the plane crash. Now, there is a bit of a role with the French here as well. The French are going to be the first ones on the scene, and they're not going to let anyone else in to do the investigation. Within hours of the crash, Dallaire is going to basically say that there needs to be some form of investigation into what's happened here, but they're not going to really be allowed to do that. The French are going to come in, they're going to take the black box where all the information of the plane is at, and this is going to lead to the possibility of whether or not, what was the role of the French in this plane crash? Did they know about this in advance? What's going on? Some of this is going to get a little bit into conspiracy theories, but there is important to look at the role of the French immediately after the plane crash, okay? The Belgians immediately conclude that it was dissatisfied soldiers from the Rwandan government who wanted the plane, or the peace talks, to fail, and that they're probably the ones who shot down the plane, which is basically saying the Hutu extremists who wanted the Arusha Accords to fail were the ones who shot down the plane. Immediately, the government is going to be taken over by Jean Kambanda. It was a horrible pronunciation on my part. I apologize. Who's going to tell his version of what's happening. He's going to escape into neighboring Zaire, which is now known as the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This is important because the government is now not in the country. This is going to lead to a state of anarchy, and that's going to be important to understand. France is going to be proactive in supporting the regime that's going to promote Hutu superiority and opposing the RPF. This is going to be up from the early days of the Civil War up until about the early 1990s, before the genocide. And they're going to be doing this primarily to advance the interest of the French, to protect Francophiles, so those who speak French, okay? There's going to be good conspiracy theories going on right through here, as you can see that written right in there. The Muzzini Commission is going to be the ones that investigate what actually happened when it comes to this plane crash, but that's not going to happen until 2010. The plane crash happens in April of 1994. The Muzzini Commission is ultimately going to decide that this was most likely done by the rebels trying to enact a genocide, okay? Those who wanted the accords to fall. Hindsight is a wonderful possession in the case of history. This is crucial, understanding this, okay? When we look at the Rwandan genocide, it's easy to say, oh, we should have done this, we should have done this, we should have done this. It's important to understand that at this time, people did not know what was going to happen. Hindsight is 2020. We have clearer vision looking back on the past, knowing what's going to happen, versus at the time when we don't know what is going to happen. So understand that when it comes to talking about Rwanda. Let's go through these sources right through here and talk about the causes of the genocide. So understand the immediate cause of the genocide was the plane crash. But if saying the plane crash is what caused the genocide is a dramatic oversimplification, so please do not do that. There's going to be a number of different things, and you can see them all right here. First and foremost is Rwanda was poor, a lack of resources, high rate of poverty, and the ethnic balance imbalance. There's going to be some tensions right through there. Different theories right through here. But understand there's going to be a number of different causes of the genocide, not just the plane crash. These things taking about everything combining together, plus the plane crash is just going to be the perfect storm. Again, there's already a keg of powder sitting there. The plane crash is simply the spark. Socioeconomic factors. Rwanda is a poor country, particularly at this time. There's not a lot of resources, high population growth, so a lot of people, not very many resources, and this is going to lead to this Malthusian reasoning right through here, which is basically people are going to fight and kill each other when supplies are going to reach a certain low level. So that's going to be talked about right through there. Again, 85% of Rwanda's population lived below the poverty line, just pointing to how much poverty truly was going on there in Rwanda. Lots of political power. The Akuzas right here, Akuzu, they're going to be the Hutu extremists, part of the Habyarimana regime. They're going to be feeling that they're losing power, and this is the only way for them to gain power. So the government elite is going to blame the Tutsis for all the problem, reinforce the belief of the superiority of the Hutu population in Rwanda. And then the colonial past going on right here. So the colonialism has spread increased and spread the ethnic tensions in Rwanda, led to an increase in poverty, and basically set up all the factors for the genocide. Important, though, there is not a single simple cause of the Rwandan genocide. There are multiple causes of the Rwandan genocide. So it is important that you understand the numerous causes of the genocide and not just one. Immediately after the assassination, this is when things are going to start taking place quickly. The genocide takes place immediately after the assassination. It wasn't like hey, this is a perfect thing, let's just do this right now. It was like, this happened, this is part one of the plan, part two is the actual genocide. This was a coup d'etat attempt for someone to take over the government, and that's ultimately what's going to be trying to happen right through here. It looks, again, like there was probably some sort of a cover-up going on with the crash site, because there's just a lot of unanswereds even up until today about what actually happened. This was the assassination of two heads of state, and there was no real investigation into what happened. That is incredibly rare in world politics, that two leaders of a country would be killed in a plane crash, not an accidental plane crash, and not have it really investigated. So that's going to be something right there. Reports going to clearly indicate that the Hutu power movement was responsible for bringing down the aircraft. Again, the Sinzi report right through here talking about that. To date, no individuals have been found responsible for shooting down the aircraft, which is going to precipitate the fastest genocide in world history. So even up until today, on October 19th, 2020, we still do not know exactly who shot down the plane definitively. We can look right here, and most likely it was someone from this military camp. Okay, the plane's approach coming in here. However, we don't necessarily know that, so it's important to understand that. That is all for this section. If you have any questions, comments, put it down below. I hope this made sense. Good luck. Talk to you later.